Hello there.
I'm Pickle Rick!
Let's do it, guys!
Right.
It's morphin' time!
Avengers! Assemble.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Geek Culture Talk on the channel. Today we are reviewing Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So, yes, this is a film that I'm over a month late on its review. My apologies on that. I've been planning to get to this at some point. The reason why it's taking so long because I went and saw this film with Thomas, and we were gonna like plan on doing a review together of it. We haven't been able to hang out though in a while. He's been getting very busy and such, so we haven't been able to have plan a day to get together again and such. So yeah, so I just kind of get to the point where I just want to get this review over with and done with. So yeah, here we are. We are talking about Venom 2, or now as Eminem has engraved it in our head, it's actually called Venom. All right. Anyways, so I was gonna have, originally when we were gonna film it together, the review, I was gonna have the table back again and put up a display of stuff. Because I'm rushing this last minute and also have to do a review for What If. I don't want to keep pulling out that table again to do this stuff, so there's no table, but in solidarity still, I still have here on display, sort of, I got this neat little Venom or symbiote action figure from Spider-Man 3, and here's my copy of Venom on Blu-ray. So, yeah, they're here in spirit, so no table, but they're here as always, being Venom. I don't know. Alright, so Venom 2. My nose is itchy. Yeah, dang it. Alright, so Venom 2. So, to get my quick thoughts on summary of what my thought of the first Venom, when I saw it in the theater, I was like, alright, this is actually honestly an average, okay film. It's nothing too great, but it's an okay, fun time. And then when I saw it again, when I bought the Blu-ray, I'm like, nah, yeah, this really is just kind of a straight up, straight up kind of like dumb, stupid, fun movie. Like, it's not a good movie by any means, but it's a dumb, fun movie, which, like, that's at least great. I mean, if it's not, it would be bad if it was an awful movie, but at least it's a dumb, fun movie. Like, I mean, that's always great. Like, films like, it's like that film Crank with Jason Statham. If you guys seen that film, it's not a good movie, but it's a dumb, fun movie, so, yeah. The sequel, though, is trash. That's not a good one, the sequel. The first one, good, though. Fun, dumb, good, whatever. So, yeah, so my rating for the original one went down from a 6 to, from when I first saw it, it was at a 6 out of 10, so now it was at a 4 out of 10 when I saw it the second time. And Venom, Let There Be Carnage, man, my nose is itchy. So, I didn't really know what to expect. My expectations were kind of like really in the middle point for the film, so I'm like, I don't know what to expect for this movie, because like, the first Venom's not really great, and when I saw a trailer for this one, I was like, I don't know, they're kind of just like, they're really fully going into this, the really stupidness of it. I'm like, I'm not sure what I was really liking it. The second trial I was like, alright, I'm on board with it a bit and such, and I watched the film, and honestly, it's a dumb, fun movie, but like, again, in ways, it's worse, though. Like, I mean, it's, again, I know I'm saying it's a dumb, fun film, but even so, like, there's stuff in the film I have to critique I don't think is good about it. Because, I mean, like, in ways, because I gave it, okay, in ways it's kind of worse than the first one, like, it's not better in those ways, so, I should just clarify that I will be going into a non-spoiler review first, and later a spoiler review, which, I mean, the film out for a month now, so, like, most of you probably have already seen it by now, plus I think it's now on digital, so, I mean, it's pointless to do a non-spoiler review, but in case you haven't seen the film yet still, non-spoiler review first, so, honestly, in ways, it's worse than the first one. I think this film's biggest problem is that it's short. It's a short movie. It's like an hour and 30 minutes, which, like, I remember seeing that. I'm like, hour 30. That's a really short film. Like, even discounting the credits, it's like an hour 25, hour 20, something like that's about the length of like like a DC animated film almost, like the last one they did, like a Batman Long Halloween. Like it's about the length of those like two films. I mean, put those two parts together, it's like a 2 hour something movie at least. But like separated, they're like an hour 20, and this one's like that length basically. And I'm like, why is it this short? I mean, the first Venom wasn't that long either. It was like basically like 2 hours straight up, I think it was. I mean, that's what it was, right? Okay, it was basically an hour and like an hour or 2 hours. It was basically 2 hours. So like, I mean, it's still like it's not too long a film, but it worked with its story and length. Here it really does, it weakens and hurts the film a lot with its plot, just because there's elements of the story that just really don't work. Like some characters in there when they introduce like new ones or introduced and established don't have proper like screen time given to them to be introduced. You know, there's stuff with like Venom and Eddie's relationship now. It's kind of not given proper treatment. Also, the show like because of the length, and also even like when he gets to the final battle, like once like Carnage or Cletus and him they break out of prison, it's like feels like we get to the final very quickly then. Because after a while, I remember watching the film and kind of going like, even knowing it was like an hour 30, I'm like, holy crap, we're already getting to the finale. Like, geez, this is going by just too quick. Like honestly, like I don't expect the movie to be like a 2 hour 30-minute film, like, but like at least make it just 2 hours at least. Like just that'd be longer. It would work better, I feel. I mean, I've been making this joke like me and my one friend. I made this joke with him about how he was telling me how like superhero films are getting just longer and longer now because like the length for Spider-Man No Way Home is gonna be like 2 hours and 30 something minutes, I think. Like Eternals were like 2 hours and 30 some minutes, and the Batman, like going with the DC side of things, that's gonna be like apparently 3 hours, which I think that's awesome. Cause like mystery film, you definitely want a lot of time for that. So that's all cool. And then I'm like, yeah, then you have Venom over here being an hour 30. Just like straight up, it's like we're gonna be a shorter movie. But I don't know. It's like I don't know. I think that hurts the film a lot. Just how short it is, the length. Like I'm not sure if there was more they filmed, but they just cut it down to an hour 30. I mean, because apparently that could be it because the shorter the movie is, the more times you can play it in a day. Which I remember when I bought tickets for the movie, there were so many times to buy it for in like regular IMAX, like Ultra HD, Ultra AVX or whatever. Like just there were so many times. Like yeah, Sony can make more money off it that way, but still doesn't help in the long run when it's just like that short of a movie. So. And there's other things also like how people I know a lot of people complained about how Carnage was very PG-13ifying because people were very scared about that. Like, oh, is Carnage gonna suck? He's gonna be just a toned down, sucky version of Carnage because like he can't be doing any like cutting off of heads or like stabbing people right through the chests or like just I don't know like ripping them to pieces and stuff like that kind of stuff. I honestly wasn't too concerned. I mean like it's kind of the same thing to me like how they said. Venom 1 should have been R-rated. I'm like, why? Like, Venom, like, I mean, I've never really seen Venom as an R-rated character. And again, here, I can understand why some people want this film to be, like, an R-rated, because Carnage is a more violent character. But even then, I've never been like, I don't know, Carnage never seemed like he's been, like, an R-rated status. I mean, maybe he has in the comics, I don't know. But I mean, he's an aspiring character, so maybe I don't think he's ever been, like, R-rated strictly. I mean, he's fought Deadpool before, so maybe he has, so... I have no clue. I'm not really sure. But honestly, I feel like I've talked to some people say how they did not like how Carnage was handled. He was too, too not what's the right word? He was too bloodless. That's right. Yeah, that's it. He was too bloodless. He was not violent enough and just not intimidating and such. And honestly, I thought it worked. I didn't have much of a problem with it because I'm not too big into Carnage. I mean, maybe when I was a kid, I probably maybe liked him a bit because. Red symbiote, and red's my favorite color. But honestly, like, as the years went on, I'm not too into Carnage now. Like, I think he's fine as a character. I like Venom more, so like, it's not too big a thing for me. So it's not that big a problem for me seeing him. And also, I feel like he worked fine. They made for what they did have to do and make him, not too violent. It worked fine, like showing how the subtleness of him, of how at one point you see him, there's this like person he ate the head off of, and then you don't see the head's gone at first, and like slowly as this thing gets pulled off. I think it was like this. Yeah, it was the symbiote, like just kind of like slowly coming off the top part of the body, and you just see the head's already gone. It's like, I mean, I think for the most part it worked, So yeah, the action's pretty good. Like the final fight with Venom and Carnage at the church is pretty great. They take full advantage of them, like both being these like symbiotes and such. And you'd see them better this time. Big complaint. The last one was that black symbiote gets a very dark gray symbiote. It's not great to see. This one, a black and red symbiote, so it's much easier to see in fighting-wise. The performances are also pretty great in the film. Like, another thing that makes this film really work and not make it an awful film, and make it a fun movie, is that all the actors in this film are aware that this is a silly kind of... It's not like an MCU movie, or it's not even like a much more deeper, serious film like your Dark Knight or Joker. It's a ridiculous, stupid movie. They're all aware of this, so they're all giving 100% to this movie. They really don't have to, but they are. So, like, I mean, Tom Hardy, he still does a great job at doing both Eddie and Venom. Like, I mean, give the guy a round of applause. I mean, like, he acts off nothing fantastically. I mean, he has an earpiece in his ear of pre-recorded lines, so that works, but still, does tremendous like that. Woody Harrelson, you know, I remember those people kind of thinking, like, well, is he a good choice for Carnage? I thought maybe he might be interesting. He is. I think actually for the version of Carnage they go with in this film, he works very well. He did a good performance. You know, also we have Naomi Harris, who plays the character Shriek. She's also having a lot of fun with the performance. She's pretty great in the film. You know, some of our returning actors, also other ones like Michelle Williams, she does pretty good in the movie too. So does the other guy who plays, what's that guy's name? Like, what's the Michelle Williams character's name again? I don't remember. Okay, Anne was Michelle Williams' character's name. Reed Scott, who plays Dr. Dan Lewis, and he's good too. Yeah, all the actors, like basically the first three I mentioned, Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and Naomi Harris, they are just chewing up scenery in the best way possible. Like they're having a blast, and I think honestly, like you can't, that just the fact they know that this is ridiculous and they're giving it their all, like makes it great. I mean, you can't complain about that. I mean, it's awesome. So. But again, I think there's other stuff in the film still, again, that doesn't quite work. And I'll get some of that in spoilers also. What's another thing I can say about non-spoilers? I don't know. I'm not really sure what else I can say that's not really spoiler-esque. I guess one thing there are, like, there's jokes. I mean, I can't quite recall all the jokes. I remember most of the jokes I remember thinking were fine. And I remember, like, the first film had some much more funnier laugh out loud moments, I will say. I remember like a lot of jokes in that film like were hit very good, like just stuff like when he like screams in the bathroom, or like when he's in the lobster tank, and like just the jokes in that film were so ridiculously funny, like just you couldn't help but laugh. The ones here were fine. Like, they were funny, but they weren't like really that funny. I remember like some people complain about also seeing them complain that they repeat jokes. I don't remember too many jokes being repeated except for one joke. And I can't even talk about that joke yet either, because it's spoilers. there is at least one joke that they do repeat at one point, which I'm like, you didn't have to. Like not even like a few minutes, like a little bit later, like literally seconds apart, they repeat the joke, and I'm like, okay, the other guy just said the joke. Like, why are you also saying it? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those weird things, and I don't know. It's kind of. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but I'm not sure if I should because of spoilers. I don't know if they are spoilers, so I don't know. I mean, overall, it's like kind of I mean, the thing with this movie is that the thing that I think a lot of people have to understand that we're complaining about the movie saying how it's not. So the people that do complain about the film still being that it's too childish or stupid, like, you have to understand, here's the thing. So Venom, like, the first Venom film, like, was of course, a lot of people did not expect it to be that kind of tone and vibe, but like the movie did very well. Like it wasn't like critically received that great, but you know, box office wise, it did very good. Like I think it was like the highest grossing film of October that was not like a Halloween or horror film. So like Sony saw that and they were kind of like, yeah, we gotta make a sequel. So they greenlit the sequel and such like very instantly, and you know because the first one worked very well, and like here's the thing, like families and kids like the first one a lot too. So like I remember like there's a video from like the Fine Brothers channel where like I think it was like Generations react to the Venom trailer, and like there was this one kid watching the trailer and she was like, man, like that one part here where like with Venom and shit that looks so cool, I cannot wait to see it. Like that should be your dead giveaway. This film was not gonna be an R-rated film. They're not gonna make Carnage R-rated. The film appealed to kids also. Like the stupidness of that film worked for kids. So because of that, they took the approach that the Transformers films did. Like Paramount, when they made the first one, it's not a great movie, but it was a average, fine film to get the Transform movies going. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't great, but, like, it made a lot of money. Like, it made a lot. So Paramount was like, oh, that one did great, so let's do a sequel. And then immediately, and like Revenge of the Fallen, which was not, it's not really an improvement of the movie, but it made a lot of money. And Paramount realized, oh, we can just make the same thing over and over, and people are going to still keep seeing it. Which turned out to be the case until last night, where they dropped horribly in the box office. But still, they didn't change the formula for 5 films, because they were like, people will see us regardless, even if we don't change the story or anything, and keep all the really dumb jokes and whatever. So, I mean, that's what this was. Like, they were like, okay, the first one did really well, so let's just keep it the same, basically. I mean, they have a different story and such, but still, like, they were like, okay, keep the jokes and the vibe, all that stupidness and cheesy stuff the same, and bring it over here. So, yeah, I mean, I think you guys should have accepted that. I think, like I said, I think it works, like I said, well with what they were given and what they were doing about the R rating. Like, Carnage, like, he's not, like I said, he's not too he's not too violent. I feel like he's not even at the same level as, I would say, how the Clone Wars would handle, like, their kind of violence in that show. Like, they do a lot of violent stuff in that show, but they handle it very well to make it, like, passable for a kid's show. So, I mean, it's not at that same level as Clone Wars, but it still, I think, works fine enough. And plus, also, another thing I think people should understand is that, I know, like, when the first one came out, like, we were like, it was definitely not the interpretation of Venom we thought we would see. Like, he was very goofy and such. Like, people were expecting more of the tortured, like, character from the comics. But, like, I think one thing people need to know is that this actually is accurate. Like, these films are accurate to Venom in the comics. One version of Venom from the comics. Like, there was at one point in the 90s, Venom was just this goofy, stupid character like he was. Like, honestly, if people want a good representation of what he was like in the 90s, watch this video from Mr. Sunday Movies where they did a Caravan of Garbage on, like, a Venom comic from the 90s. And, like, it's a great video, it's hilarious, but, like, it really shows how ridiculous, like, Venom was in the 90s. So, this actually is accurate to, like, Venom in the comics, these two films at one point in time. So, I mean, yeah, it's not the version most people wanted, but, like, it's accurate, though, it's like a version he was at one point in the comics. You know, there's a few other things I thought that were kind of dumb. There's a lot of stuff I can't really get into because of spoiler-related stuff, so yeah. My overall rating, I gave this film a 5 out of 10, so it's a rating higher than the first Venom for me, but, like, you know, it's a film I think that if I go back and watch it again, the second one, it might maybe lower it down a bit again, because at first it was a 4 out of 10, but I decided, no, there was a lot of fun stuff, I guess, so 5 out of 10, so I mean, maybe if I see it again, I might lower it. I have no idea. So, yeah, 5 out of 10 for me for the film score. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the spoiler section. So if you have not seen the film yet, click away now. If you want spoilers, so I'll give you a chance to click away. Go. Sayonara. Get out of here. And, okay, yeah, so let's get into spoilers now. So, I should need water first. Okay, now we're getting into spoilers. So, okay, so one thing, I guess I'll say it off the bat, this one, the spoiler part here with the repeated joke I mentioned. The only one I knew of in the film was when they're at the ending the movie, and, you know, they're about to fight Carnage, and also it's when, of course, you know, Cletus and Shriek, almost forgot her name for a second, they're about to get married, they kidnap the priest and such, and they're about to get married, and then Venom shows up with Eddie, they both show up, I mean, whatever. And they're about to fight them, and Carnage, he suits up, he's ready, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, father. And then the priest is like standing there going and then the Carnage is like, not you, father, that father. Which I'm like me and Thomas, we found that joke pretty funny. I thought that was pretty good. But then Venom like repeated a few seconds later, like not even that long later, and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna no, what was it? Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, he was like, hey, I'm gonna kill everyone in this room. Except you, father. You're fine. Like, and I'm like, okay, like, we just heard that joke. Why repeat it again? It was just very random. And of course, father still did die, like, Carnage kill him, so, not man, every word there, Carnage. You lying piece of crap. But, yeah, another thing I found I had a problem with the movie is that the opening was very, it didn't feel right. Like, I think it was like, the whole opening was like very much more almost kind of grim and serious with the movie. Like, it was more like serious a bit, and like, plus also you follow like Cleus and Shriek. Actually, you follow Shriek more in the opening of the movie than you do Cleus, or even like Venom and Eddie are not in the opening of the movie at all. Like they don't show up until after the opening title sequence, which like it just felt odd. It's like, all right, I was like, okay, this tone is not gonna match the rest of the movie this opening year, which it doesn't. But even then, it was like it's so weird. Like we're following. If they make it seem like Shriek is our main character we're following, and like almost Cleus is the secondary almost the way. I don't know. It felt weird how it didn't feel right that way. It was like, oh, all right. And again, Shriek, like I think Shriek's is pretty great in the film. I mean, she's not in it a lot. I would have liked to have seen more of hers. I think Naomi Harris does a great job. But like, I mean, again, it was kind of weird how it just felt like that. And again, it also goes into the whole other storyline with what the hell's the cop's name now? Detective Mulligan, played by Stephen Graham. Yeah, like he has this whole like arc thing with. Like they make it seem like it's a big thing in the movie, but it's never really properly built up in the film. Like, of course, he's the cop that escorts Shriek out of the like mental place that she was in with Cleus to then Ravencroft, and you know he shoots her in the eye, but doesn't kill her. She loses an eye, and also she with her screaming powers like just shatters like one of his ears, like makes him go deaf a bit. One of them, so like they. Later on in the film, when Eddie mentions, like, finds out about Shriek, like, oh, this is, like, Cleus' like, girl, it seems like, mentioned the Detective Mulligan. By that point, I was honestly, literally, it completely lost my mind, like, it went out of my mind that Mulligan was the same cop from the opening. Then he flashed back to, like, oh, God, wait, I thought that girl was dead. And, like, I'm like, oh, wait, Mulligan's the cop from the opening? Honestly, it did not even go past my mind. That's how much it was not handled well, the opening, because I'm like, I literally had no idea to, like, way later in the film that he was the same cop, even though I should have figured it out by the fact that he's like half deaf in one ear, but like it didn't work, it just didn't click for me. Like I'm like, okay, and like once they do reunite, because of course they kidnap like three, like Cleus, Shriek, and Carnage all kidnap or bring 3 people to their wedding so they can kill them. So Shriek brings the cop, Cleus brings Anne, and which in turn will bring Eddie, and will bring Carnage, bring Venom. But yeah, honestly, and when Shriek tries to get her payback on Mulligan, just doesn't feel properly earned. So I'm like, I feel like you're really trying to push this storyline, but we haven't really properly developed it that well, I think. Which, like, maybe there's more deleted scenes with them, I don't know. So, who knows? And then Mulligan also, like, for those who don't know, I mean, he becomes a character in the comics named Toxin, who is the son of Carnage, who is an anti-hero in the comics. But, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know how he becomes like, that's the symbiote, because we see his eyes moving a bit, and he clearly that's supposed to be the symbiote, and you see him kind of going mad, a little mad, not really much, but he just goes monsters at the end after the fight. And like, I was kind of like, when did he get this? Like, did Carnage just accidentally somewhere, like, cut him somewhere and let accidentally a bit of symbiote go into him? Like, it's not explained well. I'm like, you can't just leave that up to the bait if, like, when he got it. Which I'm wondering, so is Mulligan, I mean, he'll have to be in the next one, then I assume, but like will he be a sidekick to Venom then? Because I hope, if he's an anti-hero in the comics, I assume he will be, but like, I just can't see them doing a third symbiote, be like, especially another red one. I'm like, alright, come on guys, let's do something else. Of course, little Shriek dies in the final battle. I'm saying dies because we don't see a body. I mean, we see the bell land on her, but again, like, we don't see a body. The number one rule in most comic stuff, if you don't see a body, they're probably not dead. Plus, it's a bell. Like, easily could have just, slammed around her. Like, the edge. Like, it looked like it just slammed around her. So, like, she could have just got stuck in the bell. So, you know, it's possible she's alive, which I would like to see her come back. Like I said, I really enjoyed Naomi Harris' performance so far. She just was having a blast. So, like, I enjoyed to see her come back. What's another thing I can say? Yeah, another story beats that just, it didn't work because of the film's length was Venom and Eddie break up, like they imagine them just have a fight, but then like they're broken up for a little bit and they get back together and team up and such. Like, it didn't feel properly earned because, like, I don't know, it's just, again, the film's too short and like, break up, like, well actually we need to get back together another like 30 minutes at least because the movie's gotta finish. So, like, it didn't feel quite right, and I'm like, I don't know. So, that didn't quite work for me, and they also didn't really explain, like, when Venom was hopping to other host bodies while he was on the Lamb without Eddie. Were they dying? Because they kept passing out, so I'm assuming they were dying. I mean, that sucks. Just, Also, why did... In the previous film, at the end of the previous film, Eddie made a firm rule to Venom that, okay, you can only eat bad people. But then, like, in this film, he's like, no, don't eat the bad people. Which I'm like, okay, if you don't want to eat anyone at all, okay, fine. But your character last film established that you don't want to eat any bad people at all. So, like, why are you now, like... I mean, no, you wanted him to eat bad people last film. What am I saying? So why are you now all of a sudden saying, don't eat the guy? Like, what the hell is the point of this? So, like, it's so odd. I don't know. That's the thing I kind of felt was very weird. Was also... The other returning characters, like Anne and Dan, like, especially Dan, like, they don't add anything to the movie this time around. Like, Anne, I guess, adds a bit emotional thing to the movie, helps get, like, Venom and Eddie back together again, and, like, we see She-Venom again, so, you know, that's cool. But, like, Dan has nothing at all this time around. He's just literally there to be there for the sake of things. Like, he's, like, literally does nothing. Honestly, like, it's like, I get, my only reason why he's there is so he could do that cool scene at the end, I guess, where, you know, Venom's, like, or Eddie's falling to his death in the clock tower, and then Venom jumps off him and then lands on, like, Dan, who's, like, holding his arm up like this, who's now holding onto Anne, so Venom can go on to Anne, and then Anne can, or Venom can just, like, grab, by doing that, he can go off of Anne's hand, grab, like, and let him fall, and catch him, let him not die. So, but I don't know, Dan didn't add really nothing to the movie, so I don't know what his whole purpose of being there was for. So, I don't know. What's something else I can think of? Another thing also I saw, like, people complain about in the movie is how Carnage and Cleus are not symbiosis. I think that's the word for it, because from what I've learned from the comics, that Cleus and Carnage, like, they are the most in sync, like host and symbiote ever. Like, you know, of course, we all know Venom, like, whenever he's Eddie talk, they're always like, we are Venom, so because there's two people. Whenever Carnage talks, it's always like, I am Carnage. Like, they're so in sync. They're not like two beings, they're like one being. So, like, but they're not here because Carnage and Cleus couldn't be in sync because, you know, Shriek he was in love with Shriek and he hated Carnage was hurting her because, of course, she has screaming powers that, like, hurts, like, symbiotes, which, honestly, I didn't think of before in the movie. I was like, oh yeah, actually, I guess that would be an interesting concept, having your host being in love with a screaming character, and so has that kind of power. But in the comics, I'm not sure how it worked there, because, like, they think they were in love. I don't know how that worked, so I don't know. But I mean, I guess I wasn't surprised by that. I mean, I know people were pissed about that and how it made Venom and Eddie the more symbiotic, like, pairing. But, like, again, I'm not too big into Carnage, so I'm not that pissed by that. And I don't know. I think, like I said, I think the version they're going for, like, Cleus, they were trying to make him a bit more, like, sympathetic. I mean, not too sympathetic. I mean, he's a serial killer. We can't make him, like, so sympathetic, but, like, they were trying to go for the show. He's just kind of lonely and such. And there's some interesting stuff they do with his character here. Like, there was this whole sequence where, like, he wrote a letter to Eddie requesting he come to be at his, like, you know, speak with him one last time and be there for his execution day and whatnot. And, like, whole sequence where you just see, like, in a hand-drawn kind of form, like, just him narrating his whole past and such. I thought that's a cool scene. I like that. I think it worked. Like, there's stuff like that. And, you know, the ending also with him saying to Eddie, I just wanted a friend, which I'm like, alright, I guess that's something. Which, another thing I guess I'll say, like, Cleus and Carnage, they both die. Which I was kind of like, okay, that didn't, honestly, I mean, it leads to a funny line where, like, Venom's just like, F the Scory, and then just eats his head, or whatever, or, like, and, you know, I don't know, I don't know how I felt about him killing them both. Like, when he ate the Carnage symbiote, which I'm like, okay, but I'm like, maybe he could still be around, because Carnage, Cleus bit into Eddie, and that's how he got the symbiote in his veins, so I'm like, maybe there's some leftover stuff in his bloodstreams, maybe that's how he still has Carnage. But no, and like I said, Venom, like, he says, Earth the Sky, and just eats his head off and kills him. He's dead for sure. Which also, I thought maybe there was going to be a scene where Eddie is talking to Venom, going like, you want to eat this guy now? And Venom's like, nope, he probably tastes like shit. Like, I thought that'd be kind of a funny thing where he's like, you're not worth eating, you suck. Like, something like that. But no, they kill him, which, I mean, I guess Carnage was probably, like, I don't know, too powerful. Like, you saw, he takes over the whole church and makes it a giant, like, just death dome, whatever. So I guess he's definitely, he comes close to killing Venom in the movie and such. So, like, I mean, like, I don't know. So I guess they had to kill him. This world is not like the MCU or the DC universe. There's only Venom and presumably Morbius. I don't know what's going on with that film. But there's only presumably the Venom stuff in this world, so they have no way to combat how to lock up a symbiote. I mean, Eddie could tell them, but he's also probably wanted, so they can't, they have nothing to do about it, so who knows. Yeah, so I guess this is why I kind of felt like it was kind of quick to do Carnage as the second film's villain. I thought that felt more like a third film kind of thing, or maybe you can also have him still in the third film to team up with Venom for the final villain. But I don't know, he's gone now, so we'll never see that, so that kind of was lame, but yeah. Then, of course, the film ends after they've, killed Cleese and Carnage, Eddie and Venom. They, escape. They leave to, I don't know, the Bahamas or something. They're on a beach somewhere, just chilling, relaxing. And, Eddie's like, we are the lethal protectors and such, which was a name that Venom went by in the comics, so when he was an anti-hero at one point. I think that was the same name he went by when, he was in that more goofy phase in the 90s. I have no idea. But it is a title he's gone by in the comics and such. So, and it's funny, they're on the beach and Venom's like, oh, we need a mask now. We need a mask. And Eddie's like, we don't need a mask. I'm like, come on, we need a mask. And we don't need a mask. Or was it a cape? I forget. Was he asking for a mask or a cape? It was one of those two. He's like, we need a cape or we need a mask. And he's like, we don't need a cape or a mask. And he's like, all right, fine, no cape or no mask. But then I kind of thought maybe right before it ended to the credits, like Venom or Eddie, or Venom was going to be, Venom was going to say something like, okay, how about a symbol? And he's like, I wouldn't be against that. He's like, yes. Which I thought to be a reference how they then give him the, white symbol he has in the comics and such, so I thought that's what they were going to do. And we get another Eminem song. Not as memorable as Venom. Not as memorable as that one, so unfortunately. I honestly can't recall a lyric from that new one, I really can't. So, but then we get the after credits in the movie, which, this was a major one. Of course, it's just Venom and Eddie chilling in a hotel room watching some soap opera. And Venom telling Eddie how, I have light years of knowledge and information across the stars, and, you wouldn't be able to handle, your mind would just explode of all the information if I give it to you all at once. But when I trust you and I don't want to keep some secrets from you, I'll give you a fraction of it so your mind doesn't go insane. And he's like, alright, sure. So he's about to give him all the information, but then all of a sudden, this big, bright glow from outside comes out of nowhere, and then the hotel room just changes he's in, and then they're confused, what just happened? Venom says, I didn't do that. Or, I didn't do that. And then he sees on the TV, J. Jonah Jameson reporting on how, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. So, he's in the MCU now. I'm like, what? So, when that scene happened, I was like, okay, what's this gonna be? I remember, months, not months, a little bit before the film came out, I remember Tom Hardy was out apparently screening for the movie at an event. And at the end of the movie, he went to the whole line saying, do not spoil the after credit. Do not talk about the after credit scene at all. Do not spoil it whatsoever. What you saw here stays here. Which I was like, okay. Which man ramped speculation. What is so special about this after credit scene that he does not want it to be spoiled? And I'm like, he wouldn't have said that if it was something dumb. It can't be anything dumb. And it was not dumb. It was a major scene. So it was crazy. Honestly, I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was just like, as soon as I saw Jameson, I literally started pointing out. I was like, wait, what? That's Jameson. And I was insane. It's kind of weird. The scene was kind of an awkward after credit scene, but also because the news report was not the same stuff we saw from the Far From Home after credit scene, and it was just Peter Parker awkwardly standing there unmasked in Times Square. It was really weird. So I'm not sure what was up with that. I've heard some people say that they probably did it that way just to establish that this is the Tom Holland Spider-Man from the MCU. So, but it was awkward because it was really awkwardly green screen. It was not good looking. Then also how Venom awkwardly licks his face on the TV, which is weird. But he says that guy, which implies that he knows Peter Parker. I'm like, how? Tom Holland's never met a symbiote at all in the MCU, and I mean, some people are theorizing that maybe this Venom has met this Peter Parker, or a version of Peter Parker, because he said, I have dimensional light years of information, so it's kind of a stretch. I thought maybe this is what's happening, that they're doing a like dimensional like convergence on them. Like maybe somehow he got the memories of like the Tobey Maguire Venom and it's converged somehow. Dimensional just crashing, just like he got those memories now. He has those memories, even though he's this Venom, not the Tobey Maguire Venom. So maybe he's saying that guy because he knows that's Spider-Man. But like it's, I don't know. After I thought about that, I'm like, that's way too ridiculous and complicated. So I don't think it's that. But I don't know what it is. So I'm leading to presume that Venom is gonna be in No Way Home. I have no idea because that film is majorly stacked as it is of like the Tobey Maguire villains and the Andrew Garfield villains and like potentially Tobey and Andrew themselves might show up and like even heavily rumored that Charlie Cox might be in as Daredevil. So like if Venom shows up, it's like that's a lot you're cramming into one movie. There's rumors that Venom might be the final member of the Sinister Six in that film, which I'm hoping he's not. Cause I'm like I feel like if they're doing a multiversal Sinister Six, it would make the most sense to have villains from each of the three Spider-Mans. So we have, you know, of course we have Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Sandman from Tobey's universe. We have Electro and Lizard from Andrew's universe. So to me, it makes the most sense to have either Vulture or Mysterio as the sixth villain. I mean, Mysterio, we saw him die, but there's always potential he could not be dead. I mean, Mysterio, he's a team of people, so it could be some other Mysterio. Or heck, even them, like that, Quentin Beck could have faked his death. I mean, people point out how, you know, it's possible that, I mean, his drone, when Peter asked if all the drones were offline in the movie to Edith, she said yes, but he never asked if the barf technology was offline, which is what faked, like, what could, like, mimic reality, so maybe he didn't ask about that, so maybe that's what caused him, made him think that Quentin was dead, or maybe even, of course, some people point out how, you know, Quentin, like, how could he have recorded that video on the bridge before he died and such, so like, I mean, there's always possibilities that he could be alive, so, I mean, it's possible. Or even Vulture, I mean, it'd be awesome to have Michael Keaton as part of that lineup. So, I mean, he's in Morbius. I mean, he's been talking about how he's met with some of the Marvel people at Atlanta about multiversal stuff, so, and being confused completely about it. So, it could be either one of them, so to me, that makes the most sense. Like, my thing with this Venom, so, I mean, clearly Venom 3 will probably be in the MCU, and we'll probably see Tom Holland in the third Venom movie. So my theory is like, but I don't get it, because they can't have. They're clearly gonna have them fight at least once, because like it's Venom versus Spider-Man. You want that to happen because they're two big characters. But again, like there's the history is not there for this Venom. Like he never met a Peter Parker or a Spider-Man. Neither Eddie or Venom did. And presumably Venom didn't, but who knows? So there's not that history of like both of them ruining their lives or like them or him ruining their lives. So like the history and chemistry of just hatred to him. It's not there. None of that is there. So there's no actual rivalry to them in these movies. I mean, like I would still love to see them fight because, like, I think Tom Holland's like he's like the perfect like live action Spider-Man. And, like also like Venom. Like he's not like probably not the Venom you expected. He's a better Venom than like Topher Grace Venom. He's a much more bulkier, like scary looking Venom. So I don't know. It could be cool to see them, but I doubt. And most they'll fight for a little bit and then be like. Let's be buddies, and then they team up for the third film. So that's what I'm predicting will happen at least. So, I mean, honestly, I thought after this film came out that maybe Venom will show up in the No Way Home, the second trailer, because I thought Marvel does this a lot. Like after they waited to release the Endgame trailer, the first one, after Thor Ragnarok had been out for a little bit, so that people weren't like confused by why does Thor have a eye patch in the Endgame trailer, so they knew that we got Ragnarok. Or how they waited till Captain Marvel came out to release the second trailer for Endgame. It was like, okay, Captain Marvel's been out for a bit, so now we can show people she'll be in the movie too. So all that kind of stuff. So I figured that's what might do here too. Okay, let Venom be out for about a month. So now let's just throw him in the trailer and say, yeah, Venom's here. He's going to be in the movie. So that's what I was saying. Of course, opposite did not happen. He's not in the No Way Home trailer. So he always could be in the movie. I thought maybe we saw him in the first trailer. I started speculating. Maybe that was him slashing at that force field at Peter Parker at one point. But that's probably Lizard, though. We know he's in the film now, and we could see the tail on that creature. So that definitely was Lizard, probably. So yeah, but I mean, I don't know if Venom's in the movie or not. Who knows? It's hard to say. It's complicated. Yeah, that's my whole thoughts on Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage. Still, it's like 5 out of 10. It's like. It's also, like I said, it's not a great movie. It's not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a dumb, fun movie, which, like, it's the best thing you could ask for. Like, I'll end up probably getting it on DVD at some point also, because it's now technically an MCU movie because it ends in the MCU, and I get all the I buy all the MCU film on DVD, so I'll get it at some point through have like all them. Like it's also a way you could watch all the prior Spider-Man films and Venom in a chronological order with the MCU, which I actually thought about how you could do it if you wanted to. So like the way I thought about it with Phase 4 so far is that, you know, you start off with WandaVision, which, you know, that begins a bit of the multiversal stuff there, and then you watch the entirety of Tobey's films, so you get those out of the way. Then you own the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and you watch that. Then you watch, you know, the Amazing Spider-Man films with Andrew. Then you watch the Eternals, so you get that one out of the way. And then, of course, you jump a bit to, like, you watch Eternals, then you watch Venom, you watch that one after Eternals. Then you go back to Spider-Man Far From Home, and of course you get that ending. And then you will take, I'd say you'll take a break maybe then. This is where you can kind of interchange a bit. You can take a break there and watch Shang-Chi, and then go into Venom 2, and then you move into Spider-Man No Way Home when it comes out. Or you can do it the other way where it's like Far From Home, then Venom 2, then Shang-Chi, so you have a break there, or then you can go No Way Home. I think it makes more sense to do it where it's Spider-Man Far From Home, then like Shang-Chi, and then Venom, because Venom like ends with that after credit scene with him seeing Peter Parker being revealed. It's like a lead right into No Way Home. I mean, also you could interchange it some other ways too. Like you could maybe like throw in like while you're doing the Tobey films, you would have maybe throw Falcon Winter Soldier like after the first Spider-Man film, then Spider-Man 2 and 3, or after Spider-Man 2 and then do 3, and then you could do Eternals, and then you could also do the first Venom, and then Far From Home. The reason why I'm having a lot of this stuff split... Oh, I know, I'm sorry. Then you could do the Andrew Garfield films. Honestly, I think... I'm confusing myself now a little bit. But I see it being this as a good way to do it. You do WandaVision, then you do the entirety of the Tobey films, then Falcon Winter Soldier, do Andrew's films, then you do Eternals, then you do Venom, then you do Far From Home, Shang-Chi, and then Venom. I see it this way being the best way, because this way you get like Tobey and Andrew's films done separately. You have a gap in between them, so they're not like next to each other like that, watch them in that order. So I think that works if you guys want to do it that way. I think that'd be a great way to have like watch them in the order with the MCU to lead up to No Way Home. So I think that works. So yeah, honestly, like I said, that's my review of the Venom 5 out of 10. Not a great film, just a dumb fun movie. So yeah, yeah, that's my thoughts on Venom 2. Let me know down in the comment section. God damn it, my throat got dry there. So let me know down in the comment section down below, what did you all think of Venom 2? You know, maybe we can come back another time and I can bring Thomas in and he can give his review on Venom as well. So, who knows, maybe. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of the film down below in the comment section. And so yeah, I'll see you guys later from our episode of Geek Culture Talk, which there should be another episode hopefully at some point soon, because I have to do also my What If review. So yeah, so I'll stay tuned for that episode at some point. So yeah, I don't know. Tell me also if you're excited for No Way Home. I assume you all are. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys later for the next episode of Geek Culture Talk or whatever video comes next. So yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.